Bible refers to living water. Come drink of it and never thirst again. Visit us at Swordbox.org.
Welcome to Swordbox Ministries for our Tuesday message. Today Mickey talks about the importance of submitting to authority. Our verse for the day is found in Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God.
Well, we're continuing our story of Samson. Yesterday we saw where 3,000 of his own people have come to Edom, where Samson had been staying since his slaughter of the Philistines, because the Philistines had come to Judah seeking to take him, and so they were going to save their own butts. They were going down to get Samson. In Judges 15:12, here's what they said. But they said to him, we have come down to arrest you, that we may deliver you into the hands of the Philistine. Oh, that's nice. So his own people have come down, not to support him, or to protect him, or to get behind him, but to turn him over to their enemy, Samson's enemy and Israel's enemy. Here we see a great injustice. Samson is chosen by God to deliver the very people now coming to bind him and hand him over in order to, they believe, stay in their comfort zone of bondage to the Philistines. However, instead of resisting his own countrymen and perhaps defending himself with violence like we know Samson's capable of, Samson submits to the authority and the wishes of his people. In verse 12, then Samson said to them, swear to me that you will not kill me yourselves. So they spoke to him, saying, no, but we will tie you securely and deliver you into their hand, but we will surely not kill you. And they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. You know, obviously Samson didn't want to attack his own people, even though they were doing him wrong. You know, that's not an easy thing to do. While it may seem fairly easy to submit to authority when they're right and when they're good, when the authority is not right, and when their decision is something we don't agree with, it can be very challenging to submit and to show honor to that authority. In this case, Samson was submitting to the will of the people. However, as we will see, he did not submit to the will of the Philistines. We will see that the will of God is always the ultimate authority in our lives. We are to honor and to respect and submit to those that God places over us in an authority. It's not an excuse ever to not obey the authority. We have civil authority, church authority, family authority, and social authority. But when that authority tells us to disobey God, we are to obey God while still being respectful and honoring that authority. For students, there are very few circumstances where you could disobey the authority of your parents or school or government, and never in the way our sinful culture does, in a rebellious, hateful attitude. That never honors God, and God's never going to tell you to do that. When we look at the awesome power and strength that's displayed through Samson, killing a lion with his bare hands, killing 30 Philistines single-handedly, and then again with a great slaughter, it might seem puzzling to us that he would now surrender without a fight. But here Samson is showing great restraint. He is honoring God, and he is submitting to the authority of his countrymen. The ability to show restraint, submit in an honorable way, knowing that you may have the ability to resist or fight, is a sign of great strength. It's a different kind of strength. It's not the muscle strength, but it's a different muscle. It's character muscle, especially when you don't necessarily agree, like we talked about, with what they're doing. There's a time to fight, but there's also a time to submit, and a time for obedience, and a time for peace. Maybe you're struggling with a parent as a student or a teacher, or maybe it's a boss. You know, we're always to be respectful to authority. Even when we have to take a stand in obedience to God's word, we can do it in a way that's respectful and respectful to those that God has put in authority over us. Do you remember in the Garden of Gethsemane when Jesus had been up all night praying? Matthew 26:47, and while he was still speaking, behold, Judas, one of the 12, with a great multitude, with swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and elders of the people. So they were coming to arrest Jesus, just kind of like Judah was coming down to arrest Samson. A great multitude was sent to take one man. Now, this wasn't the only time someone had tried to stone Jesus or to arrest him, but this time he allowed it. But he said this in verse 53, do you think that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will provide me with more than 12 legions of angels? Jesus allowed them to arrest him without resisting. What looked like Jesus' greatest defeat was actually his greatest victory over death and sin. Even though the mob was sinful, their intentions were only to protect their comfortable, profitable making laws. Jesus submitted, and he suffered and died for you and me. It was the whole reason that he came, and it was his greatest victory. And through Samson's submission to his people, God was about to accomplish his greatest victory through Samson up to this time. For that, you're going to have to come back tomorrow. We will see another amazing demonstration of God's purpose and power in the life of Samson. I hope you'll keep staying with us as we go through the life of Samson. God bless you.